The day after Soldier Field closed for 2024, what's it going to look like in 2025? The CHGO Bears Podcast starts right now. It is the days that we hopefully will forget sooner than later. Bears lose to the Seahawks 6-3. My guy Herb Howard's here. Lance Briggs is coming up. I think Adam Hoge might pop in, might not pop in. One of the worst Bears experiences of all time last night. Let me just remind you that we are coming at you live on this beautiful sunny side. Thursday, Friday. It is the CHGO Bears Podcast. Visit sunnyside.shop for bright buys every day, including 50% off your first 3 online purchases. Enter that promo code HICHGO at checkout to qualify. Exclusions apply. Sunnyside Cannabis Dispensary, bright buys every day, only for 21 and older and Illinois medical card holders. Herb, what's good? You know, a lot of conversation going on right now. And it happened so fast last night that I had to go back and watch it and, read everything that I read today. And
yeah,
they had the ball 1st and 10 at the Seahawks 39-yard line and threw it 4 times and did nothing with it. So I get how wonky the whole night was, but to me, that's actually the most upsetting thing about it as I sit in it today. They were right there. They literally needed to pick up 5 yards to kick a field goal.
Yeah.
They picked up no yards. The game ended, and here we are, 10 losses in a row for the second time in 2022. We'll get to Ryan Poles and maybe more so Kevin Warren and how he's looking at all this. But, I don't know, a day later, what bugs you the most about what happened last night?
Yeah, no, I'll start right there where you did. You get the ball down in that territory. You're talking about being on the edge of field goal range. How about we do something to just help out this field goal a little bit, right? I get it. We're trying to score, but we also have to be able to at least ensure that we can attempt a field goal. And it's like they just haven't learned anything from all of these poorly managed game-ending drives that we've seen throughout the season. And you thought, okay, well, I don't know what was going on with Flus, but common sense will tell the next coach not to do those things. And then you see the same things happen again. After Caleb hit DJ on the 4th down play, he's on the ground. Caleb is on the ground 40 yards behind the ball, and he's just laying there. And you have to say, hold on, timeout, right? You have to call a timeout as a coach in that situation. You just let the clock go down from a minute to, 30 seconds that it went? How can you not do that?
So the play started, just to give, for everybody can remember this fully, that play, which was a phenomenal play, 3rd and 14.
Yeah.
I didn't think that Rome caught it. 15-yard play that took it down to the Seahawks 40. It started with 1:15 left on the clock. All right.
Yes, that play.
They didn't snap the ball again until 37 seconds remain. I'll do the math for you there. That's 38 seconds. Way too long. And by the way, how many games left do they have? It ain't week 1 here. It's odd to me. It's not, and you could put it on Chris Beatty. You could put it on Thomas Brown. You could put it on, Brian Poles probably wants to put on Shane Waldron in training camp. Caleb's played quarterback his whole life. If you got stung there and you're on the ground, you can call time. Take care, put the oxygen mask on first. The whole thing's confusing.
Yeah, I put it on Coach Brown first, and then Caleb, sure. But just like when it happened, in Detroit, when the time's running down, I said, help the rookie quarterback out. You got a rookie quarterback. Call the timeout for him. he's on the ground, right? And so I asked Coach Brown that in the post-game press conference, and he's just checked, he's done with it. He's been very dismissive, very just curt and just kind of cold. And so I asked him, I said, what was the reason for not calling the timeout there? And he said, I wanted to save it for later. And that was it. There's you got 2 timeouts.
So okay, let me take a left turn here, because you just brought up something interesting to me. And I know it doesn't matter. He's 0-4.
Sure.
Even if he had been 4-0, maybe in his mind he wasn't getting this job. So can you take a guess at what's going on with a guy getting his first chance to be a head coach in the league? Was it just that it was completely insane how fast he was promoted up the food chain, and it was unrealistic that he could handle it? Or like what I'm starting to think now, it's like, if I'm him, you're dumping all this on me and you expect me to fix this mess that's here? You think I'm going to get these vets to care about this football team right here when they're already in Cancun or they're already on another team next year? I'm just going to play the part here, show up at the press conferences, show up on the sidelines, and you think you're not gonna make me crazy. I'm not falling for this act. Something along those lines, like, it makes a little bit of sense to me, because he is just muted, and I'm surprised by it. I really am.
Yeah, I believe that's part of probably a lot of what it is, and it's understandable. It's understandable. The thing is, as a competitor, as a coach, you're not going to turn down the opportunity to become a head coach of the Chicago Bears, even if it's just for 5 weeks, even if it's in the middle of a dumpster fire and everybody's already checked out. But so you say yes because you can't say no. But then you're like, what I'm supposed to do with this? This isn't my offense. I had questions about it the entire season. I didn't like what Flus was doing in the first place. In fact, I don't like him. I interviewed for this job. Y'all gave it to him and then had me come be a de facto passing game coordinator with concepts and stuff that are not mine, that I do not like. And now I still have to continue to run those with this quarterback, with this offensive line, whatever, right? So I get his frustration. I get the bad situation that he's in. But once you say yes, try. You know what I mean? Like give it a shot. You know what I mean? And so I don't know that we saw his best effort. Now, certainly he wasn't in the situation to really put on his actual best, but I mean the best that he could do with the situation he was given. And you could tell he's just like, yeah, what we got one more game? All right, cool.
Right. I mean, it's like he's already, to me, it feels like he's already talked to people in his network. He knows exactly where he's going to land next year. And
yeah,
see you later. I don't know.
Thinking back to the conversation that he had with Coach O'Connell after the Vikings game, and they stood in the middle of the field longer than most coaches usually stand in the middle of the field for their post-game salutations. And O'Connell's got his paper up and he's whispering in his ear. And I was just imagining, he's like, man, I know this sucks and we're off the bam, but push come to shove, you give me a call if you need. It's always a spot here for you. Good luck. I wouldn't be surprised to see him in Minnesota if he can't get on somewhere else.
Yeah. All right, so let's move up the food chain here, because as I was thinking about the title for today's show, I'm like, to me, and we started talking about this, when the coaching change happened, that Ryan is appreciated by Kevin to a point, and Kevin was emphatic that Ryan was going nowhere when they had the celebration press conference that Matt Eberflus was fired and that the organization's never been in a better spot. And this is a bad day, but it's a great day. What's up, Furious? Good to see you, my man. Appreciate you. So, and then we speculated, hey, if they lose out, which I think I said at the time, I don't think they're going to, because I didn't. But if they lose out and they are playing really good teams climbing uphill, maybe they can get that Seattle game at least and probably get another one. But if they do lose out, could Ryan be in trouble? And now, if I had said back then, if they lose out and Bears fans are wearing bags on their heads and screaming, sell the team.
That was loud last night.
Loud.
Several times.
Yeah. on the final drive.
Yeah.
In the middle of the final drive when you're going to win the game, that shows you that your fans have zero confidence that anything good is going to happen. They know exactly what's happening on that final drive. They're screaming, sell the team down 3 points because why not?
And
I don't know. Yeah, go ahead.
Shout out to Crystal, our great diehard from CHGO. She told me that after the game, when all the fans moved over to behind the Thursday night football booth, how they do the post game and the fans stick around, and they were over there. The fans she said she went over there and they continued to yell, sell the team into the broadcast. And so security made them come over and kick all the fans out, like leave.
Right. Okay. And look, I don't know where Virginia's watching the game. I don't know where what George is doing, Ed, the rest of them, but this is not what they want. And I mean, they brought Matt and Ryan back before in one of the worst press conferences of all time. So, I would still bet that Ryan's going to be here. Yeah. But we are at the point now where it's like, wow, Kevin, take stock on what you're looking at here.
This is a fast fall for Ryan Poles because, first of all, I'm still not to the point of firing him, and I'll get to that in a minute. But just recently, right at the beginning of the season, he was fine. Like, everybody likes the plan, and he went the way that everybody wanted to go, and he brought in all these weapons, and this is great. This is all gonna work. And 16 games later, it's like, get that man out of here. He's built a poor roster. It's a bad culture. He can't identify talent. It's like, oh, that was quick. And I don't know that I've seen such a fast fall from grace, right? Like, I haven't heard King Poles in a long, long time. And I don't know that I'm ever going to hear it again unless he hits a home run with this head coaching search and fixes this O-line in one spring. That being said, though, I'm not among the contingent of people screaming to fire him because of that reason. I don't like it's just so revisionist for me, right? Because we were all, myself included, I think I picked them to win 10 games. I think I picked them to go 10-7. I can't do that if I think this roster sucks. So because they had a bad season, I can't then go back and say, well, it's Ryan Poles' fault because now the roster sucks. Either it sucked in September or it's not his fault. What can he do to improve this team between September and January? There's not a whole lot that he can do. And so if I like this roster in September, I can't be mad at him for how it performed throughout the season. I can fire the coach. They did it. I can go back and kind of reevaluate. Well, maybe that O-line thing was a bigger issue than we thought because we all kind of glazed over that like it was just a minor inconvenience because we had Roma Dunze and Keenan Allen and all these weapons. So, he got the weapons. It's fine. When nobody's like, well, how's he going to get the ball to them when he's on his back 70 times? And that's just the sacks. Never mind the hits and hurries and pressures.
See, okay, I hear you, and I'm kind of bummed at myself that I didn't have the cojones, there's a word, because when I looked at the schedule, I was like, they're probably going to struggle early because too many new parts. And so even though, and you have the soft part of your schedule, so you come out of that 500, now you're in the gauntlet. You're playing good teams. They're not going to be as good as these teams. 6 wins, 7 wins, something like that. I never would have had them at 4-13 or they pull off a miracle 5. I wouldn't have been that low. But I do kick myself for not being at 9-8. After watching training camp, they didn't look good in training camp. Now, I think a lot of us, we just wanted to be optimistic. And also, if we really go down, right? I mean, you do. Why do you want to?
That's what you do in the spring and summer. You hope spring eternal then.
Yeah. And for those of us who advocated for take a big swing with that number 1 pick, take that quarterback, go for it. You're not going to be in this position. You were hopeful that they would hit the ground running. All of it unrealistic. But the thing is that just because that's what people thought, the reality is when you look at the roster and you really give it a fair dive, it's bereft of talent. Biggest word I've ever used on the pod.
There you go.
I mean, and that does fall at his feet. And if I'm Kevin, And I'm looking at this. Dude, you stuck with Flus, which was against the grain at the time. And you had to we had to be the first, people that were stewards of the franchise that had to fire the head coach in the middle of the season because he completely lost the locker room. That ain't great. You signed a linebacker for $20 million. That ain't great. Your offensive line, that ain't great. I can do so many that ain't greats here.
Oh,
I don't know.
I'm not denying any of that, right? We talk about the contract to Tremaine. We thought he was going to be a difference maker. But when we signed him, I also thought he was going to be a difference maker. Not just a guy who you have an undrafted guy from Wisconsin already on your roster that can play as well as Tremaine has been playing. He's not making any game-changing plays, right?
Yeah.
Jack Sanborn can do everything that we are seeing Tremaine do to this point. The game-changing plays aren't there. And I'm not saying he's a bad player. He's not, right? Sometimes we go a little far when we get mad at people. But he's just not doing anything to significantly impact the game, which is what you expect when you give a guy 4 years, $72 million or whatever it was. Like, now you talk about, I want to go to the coaching thing, right?
Hold that thought for 1 second. We'll get it. We'll hit that right after this brief timeout. But first, a shout out to our friends at Sunnyside, your home for judgment-free cannabis shopping, place where all kinds of visitors are welcome to explore, discover, and purchase a wide array of high-quality products. Sunnyside, Illinois' favorite dispensary locations in the city, Wrigleyville, River North, in the suburbs, Champaign, South Beloit.
They need a Sunnyside inside Soldier Field.
They really do.
Sundays or Thursdays.
Where you
or
get
Mondays.
the Mindy's, every day. Right now I think you want to go with the Wonder. They want to make the world of cannabis simple to understand and easy to experience for everyone. The Bears need to make football under that Wonder thing here, so they should dial up Sunnyside too. Visit sunnyside.shop for Bright Buys every day, including 50% off your first 3 online purchases. Enter the promo code HICHGO at checkout to qualify. Exclusions apply. Sunnyside Cannabis Dispensary, Bright Buys every day. Only for 21 and older or Illinois medical card holders. And shout out to our friends at CHSN, your home for Chicago, the Chicago Sports Network. They're broadcasting more than 300 games per year across the Blackhawks, Bulls, White Sox. It's a full lineup of original Chicago-focused sports content as well. Chicago-based, Chicago-built, Chicago to the core, bringing it to every corner of Chicago, 77 neighborhoods and beyond. At CHSN, Chicago comes first. Visit chsn.com for more information on how to watch the Bulls, Hawks, and Sox games all season long. Bulls outscore last night 50-25 in the fourth quarter while you were watching the Bears. That was impressive. All right, go into the coaching part of the Ryan Poles equation. And just for the record, I like Ryan Poles. I think Ryan Poles is a good
like him,
dude.
but I like Flus.
Exactly. I was rooting for him. I'm not trying to kill the guy, but I'm just like, if you're Kevin and you're here, 3 picks, top 60, $80 million to spend, coaching hire, are you rolling the dice with it? It almost feels to me like a similar spot as where Poles was in last year. Are you rolling the dice with Flus with a new quarterback, free agent money, another high draft pick, number 9 overall? Are you really going to stick with this dude? They did. Now I'm wondering if Kevin's going to do the same thing.
So let's go backwards, right? And I don't care that I like Ryan Poles either, because I do like him, but I'm talking about his job. And so, I want my favorite football team to win more than I, care about liking Ryan Poles or any of them people. But let's go backwards. They just fired Flus in the middle of the season, right? They botched it, having him do his press conference that morning, because why? They had to wait for George McCaskey to get to the building so they can have a meeting and get his permission to fire him mid-season when the entire world had their Thanksgiving Day meal ruined, throwing up at what we saw at Ford Field, right? So if they had to wait for him then, you don't think he had anything to do with the decision to bring him back at the end of last season?
That's a fair draw of the line. Like, it's something.
Like, you don't think he's like, hey, I'm not cutting an empty check because y'all want to fire this dude. Go get it right. Give him another year.
Yeah.
Like, so I think.
Yep. I'm assuming that you've had Bears players say that to you, because I've had Bears players say that. Do you think he could have done that? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. So I would imagine that George was a part of that conversation, and I've never really believed that Ryan Poles had much of anything to do with hiring Flus in the first place. Like, you don't hire a GM and say, hey, you are the head of our football operations. One of those three dudes is your coach. Pick one. Like, I'm sorry, what? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
I got it.
If they fire Poles today or at the end of the season, and then they go on this GM search and they bring one in and say, hey, one of these three dudes is your head coach. You don't get to search and interview and figure it out for yourself. So I never really thought Flus was his guy in the first place. Because of that, I would assume, not really because of that, really because they had to wait on George McCaskey to fire him. Because of that, I assume that he was involved in the decision to keep him. So all I'm saying is, I'm not laying that coaching thing on Poles. Not entirely. Now, it's his job, it's his title, cool. But I think George had a lot to do with why Flus was back for 24. And I think they had mostly to do with why Flus was here in the first place. So I don't put that on him. I put the O-line on him. I put some of those free agent signings on him. I put, like, all of that is cool, right? But again, beginning of the season, I thought this team would be successful.
So the most disturbing thing about what you said, if I can tie this together to an Albert Breer report yesterday around Ben Johnson, saying that he'd take the interview with the Bears, but that he would want ownership to own what they've done wrong in the past. And perhaps he might even want his own GM. Like, and I'm hearing like that's a direct conversation to George McCaskey through Albert Breer via whatever sources, however the stuff gets out. Because it's like, hey, man, I know this guy is not just doing this all on his own. There's somebody above him. And so if I'm going to sign up to come in this organization, I want to hear from you, Georgie, as to how you have been a part of the problem since you took over in 2011 and you're 3-24 against Green Bay and you haven't won a playoff game. And you've gone through John Fox, Matt Nagy, Matt Eberflus, Thomas Brown. I feel like I'm leaving somebody out here. Mark Trestman. I want to hear from you. Like that's on the table, and like that's the shiny prize right now. And the Bears are going to have to present themselves in a way that they've never presented themselves before. They don't know how to do this. They don't know how to own things. Ryan Poles, part of where I'm losing faith in Poles is, I'm listening to him on his pregame hit yesterday with Jeff Joniak on 1000. He's like, yeah, part of the problems with the offense is, the way it was installed in training camp. Dude, if you can't say that without saying part of the problem with the offense is that I didn't set the offense up for success. I didn't get Caleb enough protection. So
yeah, that should be his answer.
Yeah, that's really where we're at here. Caleb is going to process things quicker down the line, but where he's at right now, he needed more protection, and that's on me. I prioritized the outside, and I'm not doing that again because it wasn't fair to him. That's what he should have said. We threw Shane Waldron under the bus.
Right, the man's already fired. You don't got to tap dance on his grave.
Right, and like if I'm Ben Johnson hearing that, you can't look in the mirror and figure out what's what. That's concerning to me, dude. I don't want to work for that.
That man's coming in with so much leverage in these negotiations because he's the hottest new head coaching prospect, because he had such a great audition on display at Soldier Field just a couple of weeks ago, and everybody got to see how creative he can be with his play calling and how he uses his weapons. By the way, do the Bears think that DJ Moore will spontaneously combust if he runs a route deeper than 12 yards? Like, do they think he'll hit 13 yards and literally catch flames on the field? It's disgusting with how they're using him. But anyway.
Ben Johnson has – go ahead.
He just has so much leverage. He just has so much leverage, mainly because he has shown that he loves where he already is. He's already said no a couple of times. I like where I am. I've got a good team. I've got all these weapons. I like the city. I like the culture. I like the head coach. This is fine right here. I'll probably get a little bit of a raise or whatever, but I like what I'm doing already. So I have to really like what you're inviting me into before I even move. And then if I do move, there's going to be maybe 7 or 8 head coaching jobs available by the time this thing is all said and done with on Black Monday. So he's going to have his choices of places like the New York Giants, maybe a place like the Dallas Cowboys. You talk about the Jets, Saints, Raiders. Like, he's going to have his choices. And I know Kevin Warren said, full chest, this is going to be the most desirable destination. Maybe. You got Caleb and it's Chicago, so maybe. But if I'm Ben Johnson, I am driving up the price with interest of staying at home and where I already am or going to some other place.
Yeah, and even taking that out of the equation, what does he think about whoever the Giants are going to draft at QB number 1 overall? Does he have a huge positive outlook on that? And what's his outlook on Caleb? He's gotten to see him play a whole year in the league. I mean, I'm sure he's not watched every single snap he's taken, but I bet he's watched a lot. And
I'm up close twice.
Yeah, and that too. And one of them looked good, and one of them didn't look as good. But so look, I don't know. I mean, you better have some contingency plans on that one.
Yeah.
My bet on the Bears coming correct here. 24 hours ago now, I'm like, it's gonna be Ben Johnson. After just digesting everything that just happened in the last 24, maybe I'm just a prisoner of the moment these days with the Bears, which is silly of me, and I maybe I need to do better. But prisoner of the moment, last 24 hours, I don't know if that guy's coming here. You better, like, at all. Like, if I had to bet on it, I'm gonna bet against you. Let me do one thing that's also unfair. Like, so Caleb had his streak, 355 passes that ended on his final offensive play of the game yesterday, picked up by Reek Woolen.
Yeah.
I
was on the elevator when that happened. I had left.
Okay.
I was on the elevator.
Have you seen the highlight? Have you seen it
I've
highlighted?
seen it.
Okay.
I heard Joniak call it on the elevator speaker, but whatever.
Well, look, this is unfair, but the ball was in the air for a long time.
Yeah.
Keenan Allen is right there.
Mm-hmm.
Dude. Touch it. Catch it. Bang into him. I mean, I know it doesn't matter. It's 4th down. But, like, the effort, I don't know, chat, help me out here if anybody else thought this. But I'm like, that's it? Like, that's your effort there?
Listen,
I didn't like it. I didn't like it.
They're all so drained. Like, when I walked into the locker room, it was just like the sense of like anger and sadness has like faded. Daryl Taylor was mad in the locker room yesterday. He was going off about a towel, like somebody took the last towel and he was ready to fight about it. But nobody was angry. It was just like they're just all resigned to like, what is this thing? Kind of like this sly smirk, almost like giggle grin, like, what is this? 3 points, we hold the team to 6 points, we lose the game. It's like, so I don't know, like in that moment, I can get him not giving his best effort. I just told you I left. I got up and left the booth. When they called the timeout, after they didn't call the timeout, like, you let all the time go, and then you call the timeout. I got up and left. I thought I was being punked. I thought I was being punked, and I was like, I must. It's time to go. So I just packed up and I started walking to the elevator, and that's where I heard Joni X call on the interception because I knew nothing good was about to happen from that. It was, oh my God, it was bad.
Well, and that's the other thing too. And Lance Briggs coming up after in a couple minutes here, but the fact that Bears fans just know exactly what's going to happen right now in stunningly terrifying and dispiriting ways is just super depressing.
You're just waiting for the bad thing to happen.
Yeah, right. I mean, the last time the Bears gave up 6 points and lost was October 24th, 1999. That was the second start of Cade McNown's career. They lost to the Tampa Bay Bucks 6-3 on the road. I mean, think about that. You got to go back to 99 in McCown to duplicate
against
what
Warren
happened
Sapp and John Lynch and Derek Brooks and those guys. Like,
yeah. It's that is some unprecedented stuff. All right. Briggs is coming up. let's take a quick timeout right here, and we will let you know about our friends at Empire Today. There is no better place to get your flooring than at Empire Today. Shop at home convenience, the right product for your needs, quick and professional installation. They're going to take good care of your home. They're going to make your floors look sweet. They're going to pride themselves on their convenient shop at home service, where they help customers shop for floors where they use their floors. So you're going to get the first class service in your home, and you can see exactly what the new floors are going to look like right in that living room that you're redoing or whatever. It's a beautiful thing, the in-home. They got a virtual floor designer as well, which is another great way to see how new floors are going to look in any space. Do this for yourself. You need new flooring. Schedule yourself a free in-home estimate today. All listeners, you're getting $350 off. You get that discount when you use the promo code CHGO. Restricted supply. See empiretoday.com/CHGO for details. And our friends at ComEd are doing the good work for you. ComEd can help businesses save money by becoming more energy efficient. You might not know that ComEd did that. It's true. It's the Energy Efficiency Program, which can help find businesses up to 35% in energy savings. What does the business have to do? All you got to do, you own that business, sign up for a free facility assessment at ComEd.com/biz. If you're not doing it, the only reason they can figure out is you don't know the website. ComEd.com/biz, ComEd.com/biz, ComEd.com/biz. Terms and conditions apply. Offers are subject to change. Actual savings will vary by customer's energy usage and rate. The ComEd Energy Efficiency Program is funded in compliance with state law. All right, Briggs is coming up in a minute here. There's a lot of loose ends from last night.
Can I go back to something that you mentioned a little bit ago?
Sure.
About Caleb processing faster, and that's how that's going to happen, and how to get the ball out of his hands.
Okay.
I saw a graphic on ESPN, and it's a pretty interesting graphic.
Okay.
It gives you Caleb's average time to throw dating back to his 2021 season at Oklahoma. 3.5 seconds in 2021.
Okay.
In 22 at SC, his Heisman season, he improved to 3.2.
Okay.
Last year at SC, he was again at 3.2. This year, you want to guess where he's at?
4-1.
This year, it's the fastest he's ever gotten the ball out in his life. It's 3.0.
Wow. Okay.
And it's the fourth slowest in the National Football League. You see the jump here?
Yeah.
Right? You see the jump from college to the National Football League? He's a half a second faster than he was at Oklahoma. This is as fast as he's ever gotten the ball in his life. And it still looks very, very slow, to the point where it's the fourth slowest in the National Football League, right? The conversation was he's going to read the field so much faster than the previous quarterback and get the ball out of his hands. Okay, cool. That's not happening, though. And he's a rookie, and there is absolutely a cumulative effect of the hits that he takes. And he starts to see things, and his eyes gets to moving a little bit fast, and his feet get a little happy in the pocket. I understand that. And I think you can improve that, one with experience, two with a better offensive line. So I'm not super tripping off Caleb with that, because the slowest time in the league this year is 3.2 seconds from Jalen Hurts. He's quarterbacking a really good football team. Really good football team. I say that to say that this idea that you have to play football in the way that says, okay, I see it, boom, 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 boom. That's how you play the game. That's the only way to win. I think the Eagles are going to win the Super Bowl this year. And their quarterback apparently gets it out slower than anybody else in the National Football League, because there's more than one way to win a game, right? And I think we need to start understanding that. The fastest this year, 2.3 seconds. That's Tua down there in Miami, right? They got all those speed guys. I don't know what their record is, but they ain't going to the playoffs. You know what I mean? Like, we make these correlations to things that are supposed to be so freaking important. It's like, maybe they aren't. Maybe they aren't. I just want him to stop taking the sacks on third down, in the 2-minute drill, and at the edge of field goal range. That's all I want Caleb to do. Stop taking them then. And my thing is, like, he knows it. He acknowledges it. I give him all the credit in the world for constantly acknowledging it, but he's been acknowledging it pretty much all season, and we haven't seen a change in the behavior yet. And I also wonder, like, it's a very simple thing to remind the quarterback of, like, as you're calling the play. You call the formation, you call the play, you say, hey, we can't take a sack here. And you let him go do his thing. I don't know if that's happening because it happens too much for me to believe that somebody's reminding him right as they're calling the play.
So this, I love that you're bringing this up because I do think like Bears fans are almost afraid to have a conversation about the quarterback at this point.
Yeah, it's weird, but okay.
You know, I mean, but it's just true. Like I don't think that Bears fans, myself included, for the record, can even look at the concept of him not being the guy. But if that's the case, like that sucks so incredibly bad that you messed up the number one pick.
Yeah. And to be clear,
I know you're not
I'm nowhere near that. And I'm not saying that.
I know you're not saying that. But I'll say this. It was bizarre to me. Last year, OTAs, 7-on-7s. He's running around back there and he's running out of bounds all the time. Can't find a guy open.
You said that a lot this spring.
Yeah, he can't find a guy open in 7-on-7s. First day it happens, like, you know, I remember, you know, like, hey, yeah, you guys aren't going to like it, but the offense was terrible today. And, you know, I don't think we'll say that tomorrow, but we're saying it today because it's true. And then the next day, said it again. It wasn't much better. And it was alarming to me because it was the same exact thing that we saw with Justin. Like he would just be holding on to the ball forever. Now, he got a lot better with that over time. You know, and then there were days where he went bananas in 7-on-7s. It was like 13 for 13 and all that stuff.
Sure.
So the accuracy wasn't great and the ball coming out wasn't great. And then remember how we started the year against the Titans? It wasn't great. The Bears have had 11 first downs, 11 in 3 games this year. Week 1 against Tennessee, won that game. New England, week 9, and yesterday. 3 times. That's the beginning of the season. That's the middle of the season. That's the end of the season.
That's not good.
That ain't great.
Because you hear about the progress, right? That's what I'm saying. He mentions these things, and we're going to work on these things. We're going to get cool. He also has said several times this year that, quote, I missed a lot of throws out there that I don't usually miss. I don't know what you usually do, sir. Like, this is your first year here. I don't know what you usually do. I'm not talking about your resume at USC or Oklahoma or the high school in DC. Like, I don't know what you usually do. You don't have a pro resume to say this is what I usually do. Ryan Leaf usually did well at Arizona State or wherever the hell he went to school, like Washington State. No. And so when you continue to see some of these inaccurate throws or just inconsistency with his accuracy, it's like, okay, man, like, I don't know. Like, this is what I know you usually do. There's going to be a handful of throws in the game that are there to make, and you're going to miss them. That's what I know to be true. And until you can string together a bunch of games where I don't see those throws, I can't really say that about you. You can say it if you want. I hope you believe that. That's cool, but you got to do it. And again, we can put it all in the O-line. We can put the sacks and the errant throws and whatever else. We can put that all on the O-line. And then Ryan Poles has to go fix it this year. And then we hope that we see this version of the next Patrick Mahomes that we all hoped we drafted in April.
Well, I like his confidence. I like the fact that he's saying things after games like, you know, this will all be good for me down the road.
Sure.
But then I'm also, and that's the only hope that you can have right now if you're him, and that's fine. And it's probably, and hopefully, I would even bet on it being true. But he also says some things where it's just a little bit off, and he's been doing it, you know, all year long. About the booing last night, the sell the team stuff. Caleb.
That wasn't good. That wasn't good.
He said, I've only been here. This is only my first year. The fans' frustrations go way longer back than I've been here. My job is to go out there and win games, and we don't focus on the outside noise. No,
bruh.
No,
bruh. You do not pit yourself against Bears Nation. There's no reason to do that. Of course they're pissed off. Why shouldn't they be? They spend a lot. First of all, you know how much it costs to go to a Bears game? Like in totality.
Yeah,
you know how much emotional investment it costs just to be a Bears fan and watch it on your couch? Like it's like, no, don't. That's as soon as he starts saying I'm in the press room, like, that's not it, bro. That's not it.
That is not it. And dude, Caleb, just for history's sake, a year ago at this time, the fans were screaming, "We want Justin." That's what they were screaming.
They were.
They're booing right now. They're not booing 25 years of Beardom. They're booing this team that had a lot of expectations, that people thought were going to go to the playoffs, that they thought that you, the quarterback, was going to come in here and hit the ground running, that the general manager was going to put a offensive line in front of you that was going to protect you, that the general manager was going to put a team on the field that could actually get to the opposing quarterback, that the owner or rather the CEO and the president might have a clue as to when he's going to get a stadium. Like those boos were for this year. They weren't for the Mark Trestman Bears, man. They were just for you.
12 months. Just these 12 months.
They're booing you. You're part of it. Now, what percentage are you? They're probably booing Poles the most right now. And then, you can
George the most.
And actually, I'm sorry. They're booing the McCaskies by far the most. Right. and then that's probably 80% of it. And then maybe 10% of it is for Ryan, and you can be a part of the last 10%. But dude, you are in there. So you can't just fluff it off and all he has to say is, I get the fans' anger. It's a massively disappointing year for me. I'm super optimistic about next year and the future, and I can't wait to get to the offseason and get after it. But this is massively disappointing for me, and I'm right there with them. Something of that ilk. Not I haven't been here that long. Come on, man.
I mean, this is supposed to be the honeymoon period, right? Like sure, some growing pains, but this is like, hey, like we just got into this marriage, and it's like, how's that annulment thing work? Like there was so much optimism just around this year. Like you said, stadium, new quarterback, all of those things. Rome, Keenan, all of that just for this year, this team. Never mind, you lost 26-29 to Green Bay. Never mind, none of that stuff, right? Just this team this year. And it's gone so far south that it's hard to imagine. And the way that it's happening, how it's just repeat. And now y'all are going to end the season on an 11-game losing streak. Like, we don't have to talk about nothing else but 2024 for these fans to have the absolute right to be pissed off and to express it.
Right. And Bears fans, believe me when I say this. I love you. I love the support that we get on this show. I love the passion. It
best fans in the world. I believe that.
Yeah, it makes what we're doing easy. But this is almost more so like I hear sort of almost an entitlement because I paid this money, and I hear from the media too that we deserve, but
we do.
You don't deserve it. You do, but you don't. There's nobody forcing you to do this. You do it because it's in your heart. You do it because of your dad or your mom or your brother or your cousin, or you just somehow fell in love with football. We should all know by now that we're not promised anything. We're promised nothing. By the laws of average, they'll eventually get there. I'll bet that the Bears win another Super Bowl in my lifetime, but I don't know. I'm 51 years old. I have no idea if I'm going to see it again. It's the way
it's bad, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I had given up on the Cubs winning one.
Yeah.
Like,
right.
It was like, that's 108. Like, come on. It's probably going to be my lifetime too. So I don't know. I would love to see it. It would be the greatest day in my sports life if the Bears won the Super Bowl. And as a fan, it's just my favorite team. I would love it. But to also be able to cover a Super Bowl season in Chicago would be so great. I do deserve it. They do owe it to me, Carm. It is my birthright. What are you talking about? Do not take it from me.
Hold on. I'm not saying they don't owe it to you. Like on some level, like you put it in there, like I deserve, or you deserve it. You deserve it.
Does George deserve it? He got it because it was his birthright. It's my birthright too.
George does on some level. He deserves it, but he deserves it as a fan. George
deserves it because it was his birthright. That's it. He did nothing but come out of a particular place.
I actually take it back. He doesn't deserve it. With George, the way the McCaskies would deserve it is that they would just graciously take their money and, keep a minority ownership in it. Keep your 10% so you can have your season tickets and all the things. But Mark Cuban, come on down. That would be my pick if he wants the Bears. Greg Braggs in the chat saying,
I don't like that whole. Yeah, Bragg said Carm doesn't deserve anything. I don't like the whole like regular guy thing that George does. I do not like it. Right? The sit in the stands, the drive my red pickup truck, the park in the back of the lot at Hallis Hall and walk to the bit. I don't like that. I don't like that from my owner. I want Mark Cuban. I want Jerry Jones. I want like an owner that's like, hey, this is my team. I own the Bears.
See,
I'm not one of y'all. I'm not one of y'all. No, I'm gonna never mind my parking spot in the back of Hallis Hall. I'm going to land a chopper on top of it every day. Okay.
See, I no, but I like the fact that he's one of the regulars. I love the fact that he lives
He's not.
Well, he's not, but I like that he tries to see. I don't have a problem with that. If they were winning, it'd be sweet if he lived in Sycamore and drove a Honda and umped Little League baseball games, and his team was and he was right in there, and he was like a Bill Veeck type, but he won. Unfortunately, he loses. So I don't. Jerry sucks. Jerry Jones is not. You don't want Jerry Jones.
No, sure. I'm just saying, right? But because you get to then be like devoid of accountability. I'm just like y'all. I'm one of y'all. I'm not a football guy. No,
sure.
You own the damn team. I'm devoid of accountability. I can't do anything about this. Right? I sit, I watch, I pay my money, I support, I love, I cry, I laugh, whatever. That's what I do. I can't do anything. You, sir, can do something. Don't tell me you're one. I don't want you to be one of me. I want you to go fix the damn team, sir. Like, don't. I'll come sit down there and have a beer with you guys. Don't go up there, pop the most expensive champagne you can, and build a freaking winner. Do that.
So that part of it, I'm 1,000% with you.
Don't drive a red pickup truck. Pull up in a Maybach every day in a Rolls Royce with umbrellas in the doors and let somebody open it for you. And like, I'm not impressed by this red pickup thing, man. I'm not impressed. I'm not impressed. Go win the damn game.
Yeah, and for me, drive whatever the hell you want. But don't, the whole babe in the woods, I don't know football act is nauseating. Dude, your grandfather was George Hallis. You have been around this building for 17 million years. Something has got to have seeped in here. So that part of it it ain't great. I believe Lance Briggs is going to be now joining us in a minute here. We'll get to Briggs' grades. Oh, there! Look at him! Look at him!
Gentlemen, it sounds pretty intense. I walked in on an intense conversation.
You sure did, but like, look.
First of all,
yesterday,
like that.
The professor and
son.
This is your best background. Normally, you're in some weird like apartment that looks like it's a great place to be, but like this, like you're in a nice. You're walking. You got a mall going on here. The sun's out, Arizona. I mean, I think it's the perfect time for the professor to shine. Are we ready for a Briggs grades on the fly here? Can we pull this off?
Let's rock and roll.
Yes, the professor is back. I would put no B+. There's no way. That is the lowest grade I've given this year.
All right, fellas, listen, let's get right to it, okay? Offense is going to be an F. It's going to be an F. The crazy thing about it is, last week offense put up a bunch of yards and we weren't even nowhere near close to our opponent's score. This week we put up a lot less yardage production, and we're within a field goal of the game. You know what I mean? So we try to say figures lie and liars figure, because in these games there's yardage that really matters, in these games. And the one thing that has continued to happen is we shoot ourselves in the foot. We take away our opportunities. There are opportunities on third down. There were opportunities that I believe on to score touchdowns. I thought that Caleb had an opportunity to hit DeAndre Swift on a wheel route, and I thought he missed that one. But again, it's a learning experience, and we can only get better. But
that's right. We got one game to learn, one more final test. Don't fail another one. Thank you, Professor, for that optimism. All right, next up.
Okay, this one is the one that I'm most excited about. Defense. I had to give him a solid B. I have B plus. Hey, listen, it's been a while. It's been a long while, and I don't care who we're playing against. I was just nice to see the defense play the way that they were able to play. We haven't seen it. We used to be spoiled by it, and holding your opponent to 6 points, for the Bears, that is quite a feat. They were really good on third down. They held Seattle under 200 yards passing, didn't get rushing. Now I think they got about 122, 126 yards rushing, which, okay, I get it, but all in all, we took the ball away. We had 3 sacks. So it was a very positive day for the Bears defense. And it was nice to see them kind of get back to the way they played before. We've seen before.
Yeah, no argument there. Anytime you give up 6 points, you're supposed to win that game, right? And I was in the locker room in the post game, and I'm like, y'all, 6 points? And I won't say who was responding, but it was like, you know what I mean? Like, what am I supposed to do about that? You know what I mean? Like, so I agree with you on the defense. That Seattle Seahawks team, they've got weapons. They held Metcalf in check. They held Smith and Jigba in check. Charbonnet's a pretty good back. He got out a couple of times, but for the most part, they held him in check. And more importantly, they kept him off the scoring board. So two field goals. One was from 50. So definitely no argument with the B plus there, Briggs.
Appreciate you, Herb. Appreciate you.
Yeah.
Carm, you good with that?
He's got to be good with it. He's got to be good with it. He can't argue. He can't argue. We dropped him off because he thought about arguing. What about special teams? Good.
Let's go special teams. All right, special teams. Let's keep it positive, guys. Let's keep it positive. Let's keep it in that C+ area. All right. We can talk about Tory Taylor every week. That 4th round pick, that value pick that we got. And, right. I thought special teams was. I don't think they hurt. I didn't think they hurt the Bears. There were some positive notes, things to take away from there. And for us, I think 2 out of 4 is pretty doggone good. And the effects of special teams and the defense, what it does is it affects the coaching grade, because the coaching grade, while the coaching grade, yes, it could easily have been an F. You cannot have an F at coaching if you have 2 units that are passing. So you have a special teams grade, that's a C+. You have a defensive unit, that is a B+. So they saved the coaching grade. Coaching gets a D.
Okay. D for the coaching.
D for the coach. I think that's fair, Herb. I think that's fair. I'm with you because, I mean, listen, they got to wear the offense for the full game. You talk about 3 points. So the coaches got to wear that for the full game. But also, if we just took the last drive, we could be like the last drive alone.
If we could just take the last drive, we'd be like F-. But you're right. They also coach the defense and they also coach the kicking game. So I'm with you. I'm with you for the D because I pause. But a grade of a D for the coaches is legit. Every time you come on, you catch me in one. Like I don't.
Listen, you're always one phrase away. All right, you're always one phrase away. Just keep your finger on that pause button and ready to hit
it. Hey, Lance.
Mm-hmm.
The coaching part of the time management. 1:15 left. Pass across his body. Rome makes a sweet catch. It takes 38 seconds to get up there. Caleb's hurt. No one sees he's hurt. Caleb doesn't call timeout. Thomas Brown doesn't call timeout. No one calls timeout. And the whole drive, I had to listen to Greg Bragg scream in the CHGO living room, "Get on the ball!" because they just didn't, and he was right. Can you? That level of, I don't know, incompetence. Where does that? How does that happen? These guys that play football their whole lives. Can you explain this as a former player?
Look. I will say this. Mistakes are going to happen in this game. They are. We see it on a weekly basis. We talk about it on a daily basis. So it's common. It's just common lore for us. In Chicago, as a Chicago Bear fan and the faithful. However, mistakes happen. Like nobody's going to be perfect, and even some of the calls that you make aren't going to necessarily go your way. Just most of the time when you make those calls, everybody at least understands why you made those calls. Thomas Brown is young. He's young and he's not perfect. What I do like, I may not have liked him taking that timeout when he took that timeout, but what I do like is him saying, I wanted a better play. There was a play that was better, and probably what happened was he was thinking fast and said, hey, listen, let's go with this play. And when they were going to run out of time and they called that timeout, I want to put us in a better play. There's a better play that I can have for us, and that's not making excuses for it because you're right about the incompetence, but hey, again, it happens.
And I'm not trying to make it out like the game's easy and that they're not getting paid on the other side and all these things, but I am trying to underline just the basic stuff. Pass is complete, run up the line, clock's running, keep it moving. I mean, these are things you work on from peewee football on. I mean, this is not that's not rocket science. Also,
Carman,
go ahead.
Carman, in real time though. In real time, there's a lot of people that will say, well, dang, Lance, why didn't you make that tackle? Or they get mad when a guy, they're like, hey, you should have had that guy. But in real time, with football pads on, with these grown men that are playing at the highest level, not many people can do it. Not many people can actually do it. And it's a lot harder than people seem to think. You can get on and play a video game and you can say, oh man, I can do all these different things. You have Prime TV that tell you where all the blitzes are coming now. So Caleb should see what we see. There's a difference though. There's a difference, Carmen. That's all I'm saying.
I feel you on that, Briggs, but I think there's a different standard we're talking about. So I'm sitting at home, I'm watching it on TV, which I did many a time when you was building your Hall of Fame career. And I'm like, damn, Briggs should make that play. Not that Herb could make the play. You should make the play because you Lance Briggs.
That's true. That's true.
So I'm not saying
true.
that. Yeah. I'm not saying that somebody sitting at home on their couch should have called the timeout or should have been calm in the moment. But you are the head coach of one of 32. You should be calm and make the damn timeout. Not that anybody could do it. You should do it.
You guys are right. I stated my case. You guys stated yours, and the verdict is you're right.
I'm gonna put you on the spot here, Lance. If I was name 5 players, 5 that are on this football team right now that you want on the team in 2025.
Darnell Wright, Caleb Williams, Jalen Johnson, Tyreek Stevenson, Jervon Dexter, Montez Sweat. I know I went over. I know, but I'm just letting you know. I can keep going too.
That's interesting that you put Tyreek in there and you're in the top 5 that you're naming. Why?
Skill set. The corner is a very difficult skill set. It is the most difficult position in the sport of football, right next to quarterback. You are on an island. You have no idea what that receiver is going to run. It is very difficult. So when you have a good one, you need to keep him. When you have a good offensive, defensive lineman, you have to keep them. They don't grow on trees.
So in essence, you're saying that with the right coaching staff, with Tyreek, you could have a hell of a player. That's basically what I'm hearing.
We saw some maturity in Tyreek last night.
We did. It was a great.
We saw some maturity in Tyreek last night. If the one knock on him is his maturity, we saw a step in the right direction last night, right?
We did.
A glimmer of hope.
He mixed it up, and then he sat back and didn't get nailed. I thought it was his best moment of the year, as far as anything that he's done that's not a part of an actual football play. I thought that was a strong night for him.
Yeah. I agree with you. I agree.
Yeah. All right. Herb, do you want to do that exercise too? 5 players that you want on this team next year?
Sure, but I won't even name anybody that he named just for the sake of being real and keeping the conversation, right? DeAndre Swift, Kyler Gordon, Jaquan Brisker, TJ Edwards, and Andrew Billings.
Boom.
Yeah. Okay. You want Jaquan
Carm, you
Brisker
don't
on
like
this
any
team?
of those guys?
No, I'll nitpick. I'll be the nitpick. If I'm the Bears, I can't rely on Jaquan Brisker going forward. I have no idea if he's going to be able to be on the field. I have more of an idea that he's not going to be on the field. I like Jaquan. They've missed him a ton this year, but I can't rely on Jaquan Brisker. Done all right's fine. My point is, we need some big time players here, Briggs. We need some big time players here, Herb. You better not.
Players cost a lot of money, and you need good draft capital.
All I'm saying is you better not think, and I'm sure they don't, but you better not think that this roster running it back with 2 offensive lineman upgrades is ready to shit.
Four offensive line upgrades.
Okay. 4.
Well,
absolutely.
Okay.
That's the task. I don't want to flip this whole thing around. Like I'm not pissed at the linebackers. Do I want Tremaine to make more splash plays? Absolutely. I think Jack can do what he's doing. So cool. But you give me 4 new offensive linemen. You give somebody the help on the defensive line.
Yep.
Just to add to it, I'm cool with that. Like just fix this offensive line, right? Now you want to talk about Jaquan's
offensive line, please.
So that's actually the most optimistic way for, I think, any Bears fan could look at this. You fix the O-line, they'll be fine. In essence.
Carm, what did I say earlier? Nobody came into this season thinking that this roster sucked. Nobody came into this season saying this roster sucks. They have $300 million players. That's about as many as you can have on a football team. They've got Jalen, they've got DJ, they've got Montez.
But I don't care what they're getting paid. Montez Sweat has been invisible 98% of this season.
He's been hurt all year, though. You know that. But he continued to show up.
Okay. I mean, Tremaine Edmonds has been invisible all season long. He's getting paid a whole lot of money. Keenan Allen got paid a lot of money this year. You're bringing him back. You ain't paying him anywhere close to that. I don't think he'll be here. But
I don't think Keenan will be here. I don't think Keenan will be here, but I also don't think Keenan will be here because this isn't, since you at this point in your career, you want a chance to win a Super Bowl. But this isn't the point where the Bears are right now.
Hey, by the way, Briggs, did you notice a guy I think Herb might have, that was wearing number 10 last night? I think like the last letters on his jersey, I think they said SCOTT. I swear I saw him gunning down the field and making tackles like you would want a special teamers to do. And I don't know. I feel like that guy's been on this team the whole time, and he was like a 4th-round pick and wasn't getting paid a ton of money. And maybe you can get some good value there. But, last time I checked too, when he runs down the field, he's pretty fast. I might want to see if he could catch the ball too, rather than put him in mothballs all season long. Hello, coaching staff.
Yeah.
Do you want? I mean, are those guys valuable?
Carm. Now, here's the good thing about that. A year ago, the talk on him was not in a positive light. You know what I mean? It was, is that the best that we're going to have? Is this guy right here? And we really need more weapons. And so in the difference that a year makes, and now saying shoot, give him a chance. That's the way I feel. I think Herb feels as well about, let's say, like a Tremaine Edmonds. I've seen him play well. Okay, have he had a down year, or I thought he started the season pretty doggone good. I thought he started the season pretty good and has trended in the wrong direction. But do I think he can bounce back? Absolutely. Absolutely. A lot of the players you're talking about, I really hope that Jaquan can bounce back because he's a big difference maker in our defense.
They need him, or they need to replace him. One of the two. That
the last time he was on the field, he forced a turnover. Yeah. I mean, he knocked himself out too, but he knocked the other guy out. He forced a turnover. He's a playmaker. He's a difference maker. I pray for the kids mostly. I text Carm when Tyler Scott ran down and made the play on special teams as a gunner, because I was actually surprised. I looked up, I'm like, damn, that was Tyler Scott. And then immediately I was like, Carm, me and Patrick, it was like, Carm's probably, I was like, I text her, I'm like, you probably got a little overexcited when that happened, didn't you?
I did. I absolutely did. We had gone across the street to have a little pregame, or actually during first half meal, and I had left my phone by accident, so I didn't get to. It took me a minute to get back to you on that one, but I let everybody know who made that play in the bar last night. Is that Tyler Scott? The reason, by the way, I am intrigued by him, outside of the fact that it's been a developmental year for a long time. He has the ability to shake free of defenders and make them look stupid. Not a lot of guys can do that. He can do it. He just needs to catch the football. So it's like, which I get it. That's maybe he'll never be a great hands guy, but I wanted to give him the opportunity to see if he can get there.
Hey, can I ask y'all this? Everybody, when we talk about Caleb, there's a lot of the conversation shifts to the offensive line and how bad they are. Mm-hmm. When we talk about DeAndre Swift, everybody's like, "Oh, he just sucks." Ain't he running behind the same people?
Right. I disagree.
I disagree too. And I had a good conversation with DeAndre in the Bears locker room last week about it. And he was like pissed, like people talk about on run hard, on finish run. He's like, it's bullshit. I've never been that type of runner, right? And I think he's right. I think because he's a little shifty, or because he tries to bounce things outside, people kind of put this soft label on him, maybe because he's small or whatever. But I see him finishing runs. I see him bringing his pads. I see him doing those types of things. And I also know that the same offensive line that we blame for everything else on this offense, that's who he's running behind too.
Yeah. Then he's a smaller back, and that's just the way it is. When you're lighting the ass, when guys get their hands on you, you go down. That is just the way it is. His skill set though is a unique one. And what I see a home run hitter. I see if you get him in space, he can do something with it. And I think the more that he's in space, the more that he's going to make the right cut, rather than the cut that you make when it's like your first game of the season and you're hyped up and you get in the open space, you make that wrong cut into the guy. You're like, dang, I wish I had that one back. But the more he gets the ball, the more he's going to make the right cut and turn those 15-yard screens into 60-yard touchdowns. If we can just get Rome Odunze to block on the perimeter, we would see a lot more of those as well. We really got to get him blocking. I know he's a hell of a receiver. He's a top 10 pick. Blocking is a part of your job.
DeAndre Swift's fine. He ain't sexy. He's got some shake. He doesn't have a leak shake. He ain't gonna run you over. He's fine. He's got some shake. He's got a little shake. I'm not saying he doesn't. He can do it, but he would shake
nice. You out of your draws. In the open field in football.
Of course he
out
would.
Of your BVDs.
Of course he would. And by the way, he's ripped too. I mean, he'd run me over like I wasn't even there. But that's not the point. He's not running you over 55. He ain't shaking the elite guys out there. He's fine. And look, you get what you pay for with DeAndre. I'm sorry, like that. A bigger problem right now in the running back room is Roshan, because that dude's supposed to run you over. He's dealt with a concussion. He ain't doing it.
That short yardage back is not. That's not what it is.
He's not running. He wasn't running people over. He wasn't afraid of contact. He's inviting contact, but when you think about a guy that's going to run you over, you know, you gotta talk into the 225 to 230 pound range. Those guys that are the guys that when they look, they invite contact. That contact gets pushed forward. You know what I mean? You push that contact forward. And to me, Roshan just is not, again, he'll attack. He's physical. I do like that. But when he hits, it's not like he's driving guys backward.
You know, have you ever heard of a guy? I think his name is Derek and his last name is Henry. That dude was out there, got the same money as DeAndre Swift. Same exact money. Same exact money.
He's going to move bodies.
Yeah.
He's going to move bodies, and he's going to create business decisions out there.
That's
You're
your
going to see
general
more business decisions, yes.
That's your general manager, Briggs. That's the dude looks at those two running backs and said, give me DeAndre Swift. You tell me 55 wouldn't have said Henry?
Yeah, but
Henry would have told me no. Henry would have told me no. He would have said, hey, Lance, listen, love you, man. Love you. I'm glad that you're the GM. But listen, man, you got Shane Waldron as your OC. You guys are in shotgun. You want me to take a handoff from shotgun and try to run downhill? I'm a downhill runner, and you're not allowing me to run downhill. So sorry, man, but I think I'm gonna go over to Baltimore. They run the ball.
Where they build a package based around my skill set, based around the skill set of their quarterback.
You know what you do then?
Quarterback with a similar skill set. If you want to go that way, you could have went that way. Y'all wanted to throw the ball 60 times a game and put up 350 yards like that means something. Like,
hey, 55.
Can't have both.
Let me help you be a GM. Oh, okay. What's Baltimore offering? 8. I got 9 for you. I got 9. How about 9?
It's a bad fit. Is the more important part. You could give him 12 if you want to. It's a bad fit.
And it's he will come to Chicago and go to a running back graveyard. It's not going to be a good fit. And we don't have an offensive line. And then he's going to say, "Damn, you brought me here and we don't have an offensive line."
Okay, fine. I'll drop back and be like, did we think we had an offensive line before the season started? Wasn't it my guy? The point is that Ryan Poles thought we had an offensive line. He thought they'd be able to run the ball, and he made a decision on who was good.
He thought we were smoking aces. He said, "Listen, we got 3 top receivers, okay, and we got a line, and we got the number 1 pick at quarterback. We're good. We are good."
Yeah. All right, we can do this all day. Briggs, you look like you need to go enjoy your day out there in AZ.
For real, bruh.
Honestly, guys, I'm tired. I'm ready to take a nap.
Well, you came strong, and we appreciate you making time as always. And we've loved working with you this year, 55. We can't express how much we appreciate it enough, and we look forward to doing it one more time versus the old Packers next week. So,
hey, proud to be part of the family, guys. You guys be good.
You're the man, good brother.
Talk soon, Lance. Herb, love
man.
you too, my man.
I love you, Carman. I'm loving the beard too, by the way. You might want to let that thing go ahead and grow out. Go ahead and floose it up. Go ahead and floose it up, man.
This is kind of this is like a 3-4 dayer that was not planned, but I appreciate everybody. By the way, I had to pop out last night for a little family issue. Didn't get to finish the show, so a couple people reached out to me about it, and we're wondering. So thank you for the support. I appreciate it.
We are with you on that, man. Definitely praying for the best with that.
Thank you so much. I thought we saw a diehard in the chats here earlier, Steven. Yeah, Francisco Espinoza, new diehard. Can I get a shout? Francisco, certainly. We welcome you. Francisco doesn't come through Herb when the sun is shining. He's popping through when the rain's coming down, and that's where Francisco's a guy you can count on. That
it's easy to jump on when it's sunshine and rainbows.
Right. I mean, anybody can do that. When you can talk shit when you're up 5, up 10, but
right.
This
do it when it's even.
He even trailing. That shows a real tough guy, and that's why Francisco, we are fired up that you are part of the Die Hard family. Shout out to you and all the Espinosas out there.
That's a good Francisco right there.
You gonna watch football this weekend? We got 5 bowl games today. They're going on right now.
Yeah, man. I certainly didn't see any football last night, so I would love to watch some football. My job doesn't allow me to watch football, so I would love to actually watch some football. I haven't seen it in my day job in quite some time, so it would be nice to remember what it looks like.
Well, it's a good weekend for the Tankathon now. We got games that matter. Carolina, the Jets. I mean, they're underdogs in both those. The Jets are at Buffalo and Carolina's at Tampa. Right now at 4-12, the Bears are down to the 7th pick, but that's going to change if those two teams can't get a W. But hey, Carolina, you can beat the Bucks, and
you can.
And New York, you go get those Bills. No problem.
Why not?
Come on, Aaron. One last time in the sun. Go beat Josh Allen and let people know that you're 12.
You're not
still.
done yet.
Yeah,
you're not done yet. You're not done yet. And we know that the Packers are going to go 43-0 at Lambeau on the Bears next week. So there's that.
Hey, we got some super chats in here too, Steven, I believe. Appreciate the support, guys. And let's see, who do we got here? Christian G, $5. Herb, couldn't agree more. Proof is in the pudding. History has repeated with the head coach. Me personally, I'm still all in on Ryan Poles. Trenches will be fixed. Patience.
I'm with you, Christian. I think George had his hands in all of that.
Namaste.
Ooh,
Christian. Dad bod, Bears fan. Way to own it. $20. Break the cycle. New GM, head coach together. BJ loves Caleb and won't be looking to get rid of him. Side note, I worry Kevin Warren is too much of a gentleman to stomach a team with grit, and AB's described it necessary hoodlums. Yeah. No, hey, a lot of people think the Bears need that
to reset both.
The toughness factor. Like, we got too many nice guys in the locker room.
Yeah, they're all great guys. That and $20 will get you a cup of coffee at Starbucks.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Burge 7F91, $10. Going back to Kansas City when Poles was director of player personnel, what were some of the good decisions that Poles definitely had his fingerprints on as opposed to Reed or Veach?
Can't say for sure, man. We wouldn't really know, but I think the value is in having been around those decisions and having been around when those decisions, were being made, just to seeing the process of it. I don't think he would have had any type of final say or significant say, with all those other guys in the room. But he was around for the process, and I'm sure he did at least some of the background work and offered his opinion. But making the decisions, I don't see that.
Birch, he was instrumental in getting Patrick Mahomes to Kansas City, and he's going to turn Caleb Williams into Patrick Mahomes.
There you go.
It's just hanging there.
There you
go. Crystal, $5. Love you guys always. That's all I could say after that. I'm exhausted after that game, but bear down. Crystal had her sweet lower level seats last night to stay warm. Crystal showed up at the tailgate. Crystal was doing everything she could to represent, and Crystal deserves better because that is a true diehard.
She always does.
I mean, my God. For the Crystals, for the Braggs, for the Woots, for the Herbs, for all y'all out there, just know, mathematically, logically, one day it'll happen. It just wasn't going to be in 2024.
It has to, right? Maybe. Probably.
It actually doesn't have to, and it might not, but I think it will. keep the faith. Hey, Steven, thanks for producing. Herb, it's always been a pleasure working with you. We got whatever, we got a bunch coming, but we got one more after game show coming. So Herb and I with Lance will see you back here a week from Monday after
43-0 drubbing.
After we wrap up the season. It's hard to believe. The season always flies by, but although
especially when it ends in week 6 or 7.
It does feel like we've gotten off the moving walkway though on this season. We are not on the moving walkway. It is broke, and we are struggling to get to gate D19. On that note, have a great rest of your Friday. Have a safe weekend out there, everybody. And we will see you on Monday on the CHGO Bears Podcast.
We all silly like the mayor.